Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Taka amahara ni kamsumarimasu.
Hamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite Sumemi oya kamu izanagi no mikoto Tsukushi no imuka no tachi hana no Hodo no ahagi hara ni misogi hara itamo utoki ni narimaseru Haraido no kamitachi moro moro no magabuto tsuri kegare o harai tamae kiyome tamae Toma osukoto no yoshi o amatsu kami Unitsu kami ya oyorozu no kami tachi tomoni ame no uchikoma no mimi furitate kikoshi meseto kashikomi kashikomi mo maosu Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie mi oya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie mi oya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Kum nagara damachi haemase. Kum nagara damachi haemase.
Great God of light, creator and giver of all life,
In accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great will.
please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
Meishu-sama, bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Illness. Those of you serving in God's work should understand that clouds on the spiritual body are the cause of illness. Try your best to purify it. Through my illness, I was led to this divine work. I became a humble instrument in God's plan. How lucky I am. We are given life, priceless life, to serve God's cause. We may sometimes wonder then why we are afflicted with illness and woe. Human beings are born into the physical realm with the mission of establishing an ideal world. This is God's plan. So, when we function in harmony with the plan, we can live and work most happily in perfect health. This is an eternal, immutable truth. However, no individual is free from the spiritual clouds that are passed from generation to generation. In addition, due to the ignorance of truth, people indiscriminately introduce harmful substances into their bodies. As a result, they sometimes become more susceptible to illness, contrary to expectations. However, it would be a deterrent to the furthering of God's plan if his workers were unable to continue to serve due to illness. It is natural, then, that he would help these individuals and restore them to health, so they need have no undue anxiety.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the morning service of Miroku Association headquarters. This morning, I would like to share the faith experience from Emílio Santos Cawango. He's from the Cabaya Johrei Center in Benguela, Angola. Emílio is a Johrei member and he gives service as a missionary. He was introduced to our church in Angola in May of 2008 through a missionary. The reasons behind being guided were his drunkenness and blindness. It all started when a friend lent him some money which he spent while gambling. His friend threatened to beat him up, and out of fear, Emilio moved to another neighborhood. Later, he started to work as a goods carrier in the plaza market and lived on the street, a situation that lasted 2 years. While on the street, his life consisted of excessive consumption of alcohol and he smoked all kinds of cigarettes. His family worried tried to take him off the streets, but as the addiction had already taken hold of him, he didn't accept their help. At that time, from the little he earned, he had already paid the debt contract with his friend. He continued with his work in the Plaza Square and living on the street where, with each passing day, he continued to be ever more dependent on alcohol and cigarettes, being unable to quit the habit. One day, one of his street companions was caught robbing someone. The police arrested this guy and Emilio, a situation that was repeated 5 times. Even so, Emilio couldn't let go of the addictions until one day he noticed that he had cataracts and hemorrhoids. He also felt dizziness and severe headaches. Desperate with the situation, he got in touch with his family, and his sister appeared in the street place where he lived. She instructed him to buy a tetracycline capsule, dissolve it, and put it in his eyes. The pain was such that he was immediately taken to the hospital, where the doctor came to the conclusion that the medication had caused an eye burn, and unfortunately, he had gone blind. The lady who guided Emilio listened to his sister's lamentations invited them to get to know our church, where they were welcomed by the minister, who guided them in the basic practice of our faith. Following the guidance received, his severe headaches disappeared, and he began to think differently. Thereafter, he became very motivated to continue to attend, as his sister was always there to take him to the church. After 2 weeks of receiving Johrei, the minister called him, looking to find out how he was. After explaining that his headache had gone, but the blindness continued, Emilio went to the center. Together with the minister, they went before the altar to express gratitude with a donation and prayer, where they addressed all Emilio's suffering. The next day, he woke up with the impression that his cataracts had disappeared. He started screaming with joy and deep down in the twilight. At the same time, he left there alone, went to the church to tell minister, and then give thanks at the altar. Since that day, he saw the sun again, started to go to church by himself. As he's still visually impaired due to the burning incident, and because he didn't have any money, he made the commitment to start washing the bricks for the construction of the church. Thus, he gave his best in giving service until the work of the church was concluded. It didn't take long, and he was blessed to be granted a piece of land to build his house, a gift from his aunt. He thanked them from the bottom of his heart and then reported to the minister, who instructed him to make a special donation for the construction of the church. Around the same time, Emilio managed to finish his own house. With the construction of his house concluded, in his prayers he asked Meishu-sama to send him a woman to carry out his mission with her. However, he asked with conditions: that it was a woman who did not drink in order to take care of him. There were only women who drank heavily, in a total of 8, who after a day or two, for no apparent reason, would leave him. Worried, he then asked the minister for another guidance, who told him the following: Emilio, let your future wife be God's will and not yours. And if another drunkard turns up, stop being selfish and just say thanks and materialize your gratitude with a donation. Remember that we should be grateful for everything, whether the things we consider good or bad. Since that day, Emilio began seeing life in a different way. On the eve of the ancestor service, unable to go to Luanda to attend the service, he went home feeling down. At home, 2 ladies appeared who were totally drunk. That's when he thought about the minister's words about expressing gratitude for the good and for the bad. One of them left, and the one who stayed is his wife to this day. His family didn't approve initially of their relationship because she drank too much. They expressed their gratitude, surrendering the ancestors connected to drunkenness, Emilio and this woman. Today, thank God, she drinks, but in a very moderate way. His wife, in her previous marriage, had children, but unfortunately, they all departed to the spiritual realm, which is the reason for her being separated of her first husband. When she explained her problem to Emilio, he took her to our church, where she was instructed to receive a lot of Johrei. At night, she dreamed of her last child, who told her, Mother, I have nowhere to stay. Here where I am, the others don't want me. They didn't throw a party for me, and at their parties, they don't invite me. When this child died, the father instructed her to have a burial without a proper ceremony. Thereafter, Emilio and his wife made a donation of apology to the spirit of that child. Time passed. As they couldn't have children of their own, they were guided to do the enshrinement of ancestors, the Johrei Saishi. A month after completing the guidance, his wife got pregnant, and today their daughter is 5 months old. Today, even with the problem he still has with eye burns, he doesn't know what would become of him if he hadn't met Meishu-sama. He can say that despite of all, he's a happy person with his family. He can say that, and he learned that when we have a solid faith, we are blessed beyond what we expect. With the permission of the Supreme God and Meishu-sama, he already guided 29 people to our church, 9 of whom already are actively engaged with him in the Johrei Center of Kabaya. He tithes, usually participates in church dedications, gives assistance to 5 homes where they have prayers at 6 and 9 p.m., and he's getting ready to receive the sacred focal point of Hikari for the second time. Emilio is very grateful to the Supreme God, Messiah Meishu-sama, and his ancestors for allowing him to be led on to this wonderful path of salvation. Thank you very much for listening to this faith experience. I wish you a very wonderful Saturday, very wonderful weekend. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a blessed day.